Suppose we have a data and there is a question, count the number of cells, count number of cells if product is micromax. Suppose there is a question, count number of cells if product is micromax. So this is the question. So in this question, how many criteria are there? Because logical function depends on number of logic or number of criteria. So we have only one criteria, which is micromax. So this is the very small question and you have to solve it through count if. So under count if, you have to select first range. So range is item and product is micromax. That's it. This is the answer of this question. One more question. If you are talking about count the number of cells if name is Dr. Brajesh Anand, then how we can do, Sanchita? How we can do? Equals to count if
and range.
Range. Which is the range? Paste special.
A.
No. Salesperson, no? Salesperson. A. Exactly. And then name is Brajesh Anand. So you have to select the criteria. So count the number of cells if name equal to Brajesh means we have 83 cells of Brajesh, right? So this is the example of count if. But if you have two or more criteria, like if I have a question, if name is Brajesh and product is apple. So there are two criteria here. One is apple and another is name. So you have to use count ifs. Count ifs. Under count ifs, you have to select the first range, which is first range is name and the criteria is Brajesh, and you have to select the second range, which is product and then apple. Yes. So this is the answer. So Brajesh sold 17 apple in this, according to this data, right? So this is the example of count if and count ifs. Now we have same question with average. So now question is changed. Average, sum of cells if city is Delhi. That means you have to sum the value, sum of the value if city is Delhi. So you have to just sum of Delhi cells. So how we can do this? So we can do this through sum if. Under sum if, they are looking for first range. So our first range is city, and there is a criteria is Delhi, and this is the most important part, which is sum range. Sum range is always numerical value, and you have to sum of cells. So numerical value should be cost or sales. That should be cells. So we have 17,41,293 cell total cells in Delhi. The same way, you have to just answer this question: sum of cells if product is Vivo. Jasmine, can you try? Jasmine? Jasmine, can you try it? Rahul, sum of cells if product is Vivo.
To equal to sum if
Equals to sum if
range so product is we select the entire range from column B.
very good.
Then we select product range from column C, product Vivo.
Vivo, product is Vivo. Yes, range is B and product yani criteria is Vivo, and then you have to sum cells. So this is the answer. So we have one more example with two criteria. Suppose sum of cells if product is Vivo and city is Delhi. Here we have two criteria. One is product Vivo and another is Delhi. So we have two criteria, so we have to use sum ifs. Under sum ifs, if you are talking about sum if, then some range comes at end. Even if you are starting with sum ifs, so some range comes first. So you have to follow the rule, follow the syntax. So sum of cells means sum range is cells. Then they are asking about the criteria range 1. So our range 1 is product and the criteria is Vivo. So you have to search Vivo, and the second criteria range is city, so that should be C, and then range, under this range you have to search Delhi, so you have to just choose Delhi. If you are unable to find here Delhi, then you can put it under double quotation like this. Either you can click on Delhi or you can write Delhi under double quotation. So this is the answer. So I hope this is clear now. It was discussed in the last session. Sanchita, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So now we have another small question, which is average of cells. There is no criteria there. If anybody is asking about the average of cells means what? Average of cells means what? Anyone?
Average of total sales.
Exactly. Average of total sales. So simply you have to just use average function and select a range of cells. So this is the answer of average cells. So this is 10,625 point something. But if we have criteria, average of cells, if city is Delhi, then there is a criteria, that is why you have to use average if. The same way, under average if, you have to select first range. Which is the range? City is range. Under this you have to find Delhi, and then you are going to average of cells, so you have to select cells. So this is the answer. This is the same like sum if or sum ifs, but under sum if, what we can do, we can use some kind of activities, but here you have to do average kind of activity. So one more question from your side. Average of sales if product is Nokia. So tell me the answer, anyone?
Is equal to average if.
Just 1 minute. This is called average if. Yes.
Select the range of sales
Product. Yes. First comes under average if they are looking for range. So you have to select product range, and then
Nokia.
Nokia. Very good. And then
Then select the range of sales.
exactly, because this is the numerical range, so you have to select sales range. So this is the correct answer. Now we have last question, which is related to average ifs. Under average ifs, what we have to solve? We have to solve more than one criteria. If suppose average of sales, you have to just find the average of sales if product is Nokia and name is Muhammad Asif. So we have two criteria. So in this case, you have to use average ifs, because we have more than one criteria. So average ifs, under average ifs, what you need first? Average range, and average range is always numerical, and you are going to average of cells, so you have to select the cells range. Then criteria range 1. So criteria range 1 is product. Under this product you have to find out which one, Nokia. And the second range is name, so you have to select the A column, and then you have to find Muhammad Asif. So this is the data. So see, yes, this is the average of sales if product is Nokia and name is Muhammad Asif. So this is the answer. So this is all about logical function. This is all about logical function. So you have to use logical function during any kind of analysis. If you are analyzing something, then this is very, very important. And then now we have to start the most important topic of Excel, which is pivot table. I guess few of you are aware with the pivot table. How many of you are aware with the pivot table?
Yes.
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 Okay, great. So My question is from Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine, can you tell me what is the importance of pivot table? Yeah, what is pivot table? How you can explain it? How you can explain pivot table? So I guess Jasmine is not aware with the pivot table. S.
Sir, too much.
Yeah.
It is sort of summary.
Okay.
Summary, sort of summary from the data.
Okay. Okay. Summary of the data you can say, right?
Accordingly, as we need.
Yes. 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 Is correct. Is correct. Anyone else? Anyone else? Chiranjeev, I guess you are going to.
Actually, the pivot table helps the desired data in single line and single item. The whole big six from big six.
That's great. That's great. Again, this is the good answer. Anyone else? Sumit?
Pivot table, I think, is organize the data as a management which we want to use it and just like to show what the summarize the data.
That's great. That's great. This is the most like appropriate answer you can say. So yes, if you are talking about pivot table, if you are going to learn pivot table, then you have to understand the first meaning of pivot table or the importance of pivot table. See, if you are going to create reports, so pivot table is a chapter, pivot table is a topic where we can solve our 20 to 25% of report. We can solve our report, we can create our report through pivot table at least 20 to 25% report. So this is very important topic. And now what is pivot table? Then pivot table, with the help of pivot table, we can summarize or analyze our database. We can summarize or analyze our database. So there is a small question. We have same data. It contains salesperson name, their date, week num, client age, product, city, cost and sales. So this is the data. And there is a small question. If I ask you, create a report which includes salesperson wise total sales. If you use filter, so definitely if you have 1 lakh data, suppose if you have 1 lakh data, then you have to spend at least 1 to 2 weeks to do this. How? If you are very much aware with the filter and you are going to just answer salesperson wise total sales, so you will write the first name and then you go for filter, I guess, and then you have to just filter the data of Brajesh. In this case, what you can do, you will go for the sales data and you will find the sum of the value here. You can copy it and then move to the second cell and paste it. So this way you have to create a report for each person. Suppose if you are going to create a report of Mohit, the same way you have to just filter your data and then after you have to select the sales range. Here you will get the sum of sales. You have to just copy it, then just paste it and write here mean. So this is the manual, you can say this is the manual answer, this is the filter kind of thing. You can do it. So for this answer, you have to spend at least 1 to 2 weeks. If you have suppose 2000 or 5000 salesperson in your group, then you have to spend at least 1 to 2 weeks. So this is the first answer, but this is not acceptable if you are a professional, if you are playing with the data, if you are working with the corporate data, so you don't have to spend that much time. So anyone from your side can tell how we can do this without pivot table in 2 minutes. Is there any other option where we can use and we can do it in 2 minutes? Anyone other than pivot table, other than filter? Is it possible to do it in less than 2 minutes or maybe 2 minutes?
Yes, Samit.
Great. Great. So Chiranjeev, very right answer. So we can do it through SUMIF function. How? What you have to do is, no matter how many names you have, first of all just select the whole name from the data and copy it and paste it here. So there are many duplicacy. So what you have to do first, you have to just remove the duplicate. So under data there is an option called remove duplicate and continue with the current selection. So you will get the unique name here. So we have only 17 name here out of more than maybe 12 or 1300 data. We have 17 unique names. So first work is done. Now you have to use SUMIF function. How? Use SUMIF. You are talking about range. So what is the range? So name should be range. Where is our range? Our range is in data. So this is the range. Where is criteria? So under question there is a criteria called Brajesh. And what you have to sum? So you have to sum of cells. So you have to go for the data and use H column for cells. So you will get the same answer for one, and just double click on this, you will get the answer. So this is the correct answer for any professional, because for professional this is the most important part, how you can save your time and your organization time. So apart from pivot table, we have option to use it, apply it, and we can save our 2 weeks time. Okay, now the most important thing, which is called pivot table. Now we will solve it, the same question, through pivot table. And the most beauty of this topic is you can do the same work within 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds. How we can do this within 10 seconds? So you have to learn pivot table. So now we are going to start pivot table. So pivot table is, what is pivot table? So pivot table, with the help of pivot table we can summarize or analyze our database. So you are going to summarize something. So this is the answer. So this way, first of all you have to select the whole data by using Ctrl plus A. So you have to select your whole data, and after selecting whole data, go for insert, and there is a first option under insert tab, that is pivot table, and just click OK. So you will get a separate sheet where you can create pivot table. So I am writing here name pivot table 1. So this way we can create pivot table. Now you have to use it. So see, under pivot table we have two sections here. One is pivot case where you will get the report. This is called pivot case. You can remember like suitcase. You are putting under a very important documents or any clause under suitcase. The same way, so this is called pivot case. So this is the pivot case where you will get the report, and how we can control this pivot case through pivot table fields. So we have 5 section here. First section is, you can say, pivot table fields. So this is the same fields which is in our database. So salesperson, date, week name, client name, something like that. Salesperson, date, week name, something like that. And we have another 4 areas. One is filter, another is columns, another is rows, and another is values. If you are able to understand the use of this, then pivot table is very easy. So this is actually very easy. My question was, find out the total sales person wise. So what you can do is just select the salesperson and drop it down in rows, and select the sales and drop it in values. So this is the answer. Within 2 seconds you will get the same answer. So if you are talking about Asif, so there is a sales of 12,75,000. Can you check it again? Asif, this is the answer, 12,75,003, and under pivot table you will get the same answer. So if you are talking about Manish Kumar Pathar, 7,31,000, cross check Manish. Yes, 73,1658. This is the same answer. So this is the beauty of pivot table. You can do it your report within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, maximum less than 10 seconds. So this is the beauty of pivot table. So once again, just you have to select your data, go for pivot table, and just click OK. Before clicking on OK, you have 2 options. Either you can create your pivot table in existing sheet, or you have to create new workbook. Always try to do it in new workbook. So you will get a new sheet. This is pivot table 2. Suppose we have a question. Tell me the total sales city wise total sales. So this time city should be in the row and sales should be in the values. So this is the very basic rule. Just you have to select and drag it and put as per requirement. So now I guess row part is clear. If you are putting anything in row, so they will summarize you row wise. Suppose if you are not putting here, if you are putting in the column, even that you will get the summary or report, but the direction is changed now. In this case, you will get answer vertically, and in this case, you will get the answer horizontally. First Patna, then Mumbai, then Jaipur, then something like you are going horizontally. In this case, you are going vertically. So which mode you are comfortable, in rows or in columns? Which looks good, this or this? Anyone? Yes.
Rows.
99% of reports we are creating and putting it under rows instead of column. But yes, sometime we can use columns. We'll give you few examples. Right? So this is the first. Rows means row wise summary, column means column wise summary, and value means you are going to calculate something. You are going to calculate something. So this is the rows, columns and values. Now we have fourth area which is called filter. So now once again I am creating a pivot table, just renaming it pivot table 3, and suppose we have a data product wise cost price, product wise cost price. So this here you can use your product under rows and cost under values. So this is the product wise cost price, total cost price. But if anybody asks you, I'm not talking about the whole city, I'm talking about only Patna or only Delhi or only any city as per data. So what you can do is just select a city and put it under filter. So there is a no changes here, but there is an option here. If you are talking about whole the city, then you can see the total cost, that is 37,67,067. But if you are talking about Patna, only Patna, see, this is the answer. And in Patna we have these cells. In Delhi we have this cell. In Jaipur we have this cell. So something like that you have to use filters. So we have 4 section here. Under 4 section you have to use filter, items and values, columns, rows, values and filters. You have to use the combination of these 4 and you can create multiple reports. All clear? So this is the first step of pivot table. We can use pivot table how? By moving your fields in different areas. So now come to the pivot table part. Here we have some points that we have to clear. The first point is what is pivot table. So you are very much aware with what is pivot table. Movement of fields. So how we can use our fields in rows or columns or values or filter. And the same thing, use of filter. Why we are using filter separately? Because you have to understand city wise or product wise or person wise anything, then you have to put under filter. And the next point, which is very important, which is called use of refresh option. The next point is use of refresh option. So how we can use of refresh option?
Sir, if there is some change in the data, we can use it by this.
Exactly. If you are talking about, suppose there is a city-wise total sales. If you are talking about Patna, so we have 21,66,199. Sum of sales of Patna is 21 lakh plus. Suppose there is a change in data. If there is a change in data, so I am putting wrongly or intentionally, instead of 49 lakh or 4,94,000. So there is a changes in our database. So if you can move to your report, you can see there is a no reflection here. So what you can do, just right click and use refresh. So you will get the updated data. So how we can explain it? We can say if there is a change in your database, so if you want an updated report, then you have to use refresh option. Now you can see there is a comment here. You will get the same sheet here. After any modification in master data, we can get updated report by using this option. So this way you can use, there are several comments on each point. So you can take help from this comment also apart from video. So this is the way to present your data, and you can create very dynamic report by using pivot table. So we have done only 4 points out of maybe 15-16 points. So we have a break of 5 minutes and then we'll finish it completely. Okay, so just we have 5 minutes break. So now we have done 4 points. First of all, what is pivot table? Then movement of fields, use of refresh option, and use of filter. Now we are going to tell you the most important feature of pivot table, which is called value field setting. So same way, we are creating a new sheet. Pivot table 4, and here suppose we have city wise total sales, and what you can do is just select cells and you have to put again. You have to put 2-3 times or 4 times, maybe 5 times. Every time you will get the same answer, but the main thing is value field setting. So this is the correct one because you are going to just explore this. Yes. Yes. So now this is the fourth option, which is very useful, and we can say this is called value field setting. How we can use value field setting? So under value field setting, what you can do, just select your any field like city or person or maybe product in rows, and you have to put cells, any numerical data again and again. So you will get a data like this, report like this, but there is no point of the same fields. Here what we can do is, you have to just right click here. There is an option called value field setting. Click here. So now instead of sum, you can use count. So you will get a report which includes in Patna we have 201 cells and the total collection is 26 lakhs something. The same way you can see city wise total cells and number of cells. The same way you have to select the third column, go for value field setting. There is an option called average. So we have average cells city wise. Same, go for value field setting, use max, use mean. So this is dynamic report, city wise, minimum cells, maximum cells, average cells, number of cells, and total sum of cells. So this is only because of value field setting option we have. So you can use your value field setting and create very dynamic report comparative analysis. If you are going to just create comparative report or comparative analysis kind of thing, then you can use value fill setting, which is very much important. Now there is another very good option with us, which is called use of group and ungroup. Use of group and ungroup. So use of group and ungroup. For this, again select, go for pivot table, new, and there is another pivot table which is pivot table 5. And now this is the most important feature. Suppose if you have to create daily sales report, monthly sales report, quarterly sales report, then you can use group and ungroup option. What you can do for this, just I am selecting date and putting it in row and cells in value. Now you can see there is a report which says yearly sales report. Here what you can do, just right click in the date area and there is a option group and ungroup. Go for group, and what you can do, simply just remove year and quarter. So you have only month, so you will get monthly sales report. If you right click, go for quarter, so this is quarterly sales report. If you go for group, there is only year option, so you will get yearly sales report. Suppose you are creating yearly sales report, that is okay. But if you are creating monthly sales report, then you should use month along with the year. Please mute your voice. Somebody is talking their own. Amar Gupta, please mute your voice, please. Yeah, now it's fine. So if you are creating single kind of thing, that is okay. But if you are creating monthly sales report, then you should check your month along with year, because there are several years data in the database. So this way we can use group and ungroup kind of thing. And if you go for ungroup, so there is another report you will find, which is daily sales report. This is the daily sales reports. There is another option which is days option. If you want to create weekly sales report, then instead of number of days 1, you have to put 7. So you will get weekly sales report. This is very customized kind of thing. You can customize your sales interval of 10 days or 15 days or 20 days, or it's all depend upon your requirements. If you are going to just create a report of interval of 15 days, you have to put here 15 and click OK. So this is the interval of 15 days. So our sales starts with 2nd Jan 2015, and after 15 days, that means that will go up to 16th of Jan 2015. So this is the interval of 15 days. So you can customize your report date wise. We have another option, very good option, and use of group and ungroup, which is, again I am creating pivot table with option pivot table 6. See, if we have, suppose we have cost price or sales price in rows and the same thing in values. So no meaning of this report. But if you right click on the value kind of thing and go for value field setting and just click count, so there is a very good report comes, which is you sold 3 items of 200 rupees, 5 items of 1200 rupees, 7 items of 1288 rupees, something like that. There is a very good report. But actually you can group it. How we can group it? Just right click, there is a again group option. Under this you can see the lowest price and the highest price here. So lowest price is 200 and the highest price is 5,60,000. So there is a group of 1000 rupees. I am putting by under by 1000. So what kind of report you will get? See, we have 3 items which is between 200 and 1199. We have 12 item in 1200 to 2199. 6 item, 51 item, in between 4 to 6, 5200 to 61, something like that. You can customize your requirement as per, you can just group it. Right click, group. See, our product starts with 200, but if you want to just edit, you can start with 1 and go with 6 lakhs suppose, and create 1000 kind of thing, or 5000 here, 5000. See the report. So we have 301 item which is under 1 to 500 range. We have 869 items which is under this range, 5 item under this range, 2 items under this range. So you can segregate, you can group it your range as per your requirement. So this is the very important feature of pivot table. You can just customize your range, date wise sales report, product wise sales report, weekly sales report, quarterly sales report, cost wise, sales amount wise, everything. This is the most important part, which is use of group and group. I guess understand? Everything is clear now?
Clear, sir.
Very good. So after this, there is a very small topic which is called, suppose you are creating a pivot table. Suppose you are creating a pivot table, city wise cost, city wise cost. If you change any data in your master data, that means your source data, so you can see the reflection here. So that is already clear with the refresh option. So I am just doing it again in Patna 617298. So I am changing a data here and refreshing it. So you will get the reflection here. Sales. So you have to cost. You have to take sales instead of cost. Yeah. So refresh it. You can see there is a change 51 to 61. Or once again I am just changing. So that is suppose 10 lakhs in Patna. Okay, so right click, refresh. So there is a no change in.
I think because you are changing the sales price. and here you put the cost price.
Okay, that is why. So we have to select cells. Yes. So now you can change. Now you can see the reflection here. So one thing is, once you change your data, so this is the one type of changing. You can see the reflection after right click and refresh. So this is pivot table 7 and refresh it. So this is the change. The point is, if you suppose add more data in your bottom of the data, so this is the cells, few of the cells which we have sold past this data. So there is a no reflection in this data. 136, right click, refresh, no reflection, refresh, no reflection. Because if you are creating pivot table, then always you have to try to take this data under table. So what we can do, simply before creating pivot table, first of all just select your data, and before creating pivot table you have to just change into table. Click on table and then OK. This is the 2 seconds work. And now if you will create any pivot table, you can see the reflection. So this is pivot table 8. Here we are doing the same thing, city wise total cells. So this is 13691, reflect, no problem. I'm just adding few data in the bottom of this data. So now you can see the reflection 13691, right click, refresh, 142. So what you can do, before creating pivot table, you should just change your table, change your data or convert your data into table, which is very important. And this is called, we can say, dynamic range selection. That means for dynamic range selection, what you can do, just change your data into table and then create pivot table. Then dynamically you will get the reflection kind of thing in your report. So this is very important. And now this is the very important thing, but this is very smallest trick, which is called double click on report data and get separate sheet for that item in details. That means you have created so many pivot table here, so many pivot table here. If your boss is asking about, tell me the brief details on Mumbai sales. So in Mumbai we have sold only 20 items. So just go for the summarize or pivot table and double click on the 20 or maybe 151, any numerical data. So just I am clicking, double clicking here, see the reflection. So you will get a separate sheet which includes only 20 cells which is in Mumbai. See carefully, we have a data, and in Faridabad we have 31 lakh cells plus cells. So if you are creating, just double click on this value, so you will get a separate sheet which includes only Faridabad cells, which is very good feature. If your boss is asking about the details on a particular item or city, then you can simply double click and you will get the answer. So this is the very magical option in pivot table which you can use. Now there is an option called use of formula in pivot table. Suppose we have only cost and sales. we don't have any profit loss kind of heading here, and we need something city wise profit, or product wise profit, or client wise profit. How you can do it? So for this question, you have to create another pivot table, which we can put pivot table 9. So you are going to create city wise profit. So how you can do it? So just select city, or like profit, you have to just import your sales along with the cost and put here a simple function which is equals to this is the sales and minus cost. So you will get the answer. So you can do any arithmetical operation this way, and you can put here appropriate heading here, profit or loss, and this is the sum of the data, and for the same format you can select the format painter and apply it. So this way you can present your data. But the most important thing, if you are not going to show your cost or sales, simply you are looking for profit or loss, then you can use two things. One is copy it, go for the new sheet and go for paste special value and OK, and then you can just delete the things. This is the first process that you can follow. So this is called city wise profit or loss report. But in pivot table, if you don't want to show your cost or sales, then that will be 0, because this is depends on your sales and profit, so that will not work. In this case, how we can do it? Through pivot table. So there is another trick which is called, just select your city and move it into rows. There is an option called pivot table analyze. And under pivot table analyze, there is an option called field item and sets, and there is an option called calculated field. So what you can do is name the fields. So you want profit and loss, and then you have to use formula under this. See, there is a equal sign, select your cells, insert, minus the same thing, cost, insert, and then add and OK. So you don't have to show your cost or sales here, and you can get profit and loss report. So this is very important and internal feature in pivot table, which you can use and you can create your dynamic reports. So is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So there are very
Mr. Bridget, it is
Yeah.
not available in our Excel, the developer part and this.
no. This is not under developer. If you click, see, if you click on pivot table, so this is the option of pivot table analyze. So if you click outside the pivot table, you can't see here, there is a blank area. But if click on pivot table, and then you can see there is a pivot table analyze option appear, then you have to click. So this will appear every time, no worry about that. This is not related to developer tab, this is related to pivot table actually.
No, but it is not showing in our pivot table.
This will show. Just share your screen. I want to see your screen. Is it possible to share your screen?
Yes, just a second.
Yes, please share your screen. Just I am stopping my screen.
Alright. Yeah. So this is the screen.
Okay. So this is, see, there is an analyze option. If you write, just click on J2 cell, J2, any J2 cell, J2 or yes. This is disappear now. If you click on any part of the pivot table, this is the appear analyze. Under analyze there is an option. Click on analyze, analyze. After view, analyze. This is a part of analyze last.
So I'm not able to program because
So there is a tab, data tab, review tab, view tab. After view tab, you can see analyze tab is there.
actually I think screen share option is there, na? So there is no option to show this highlighted screen.
Analyze after view, you can click on after view.
Okay.
Yes, click. So now there is an option field item and sets under this. Right side, go right side the screen. Yes. So this is everywhere. So this is part of actually pivot table. This is not a part of developer.
Okay.
Right?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great. So now, I guess this is very much clear how we can use formulas in pivot table. Now, we are going to tell you the most important part of the pivot table, which is called pivot table dashboard. So this is a kind of dashboard where you can just summarize, control your everything with few of the buttons. So this is most important part, which is called pivot table dashboard. How we can create it, and which is the part of pivot table that can be used in the pivot table. So simply for pivot table dashboard, when you creating pivot table dashboard, so go for selection and don't import pivot table. Just go for insert and there is a pivot chart option. Instead of pivot table, you have to use pivot chart and click OK. So you will get the same option, same pivot table kind of thing, but apart from pivot table, you will get the chart of that area also. Suppose city wise, you are going to show your cost and sales. So pivot table is there, but apart from pivot table, there is a chart also. So this is called pivot chart. So under pivot chart, if you want to change, if you want to format, you can format. Suppose click on the chart, there is a design option. You can take any of the design here, any color like this or this or this, any one. Now you have to do few things. You have to just insert a row. Why? Because we want a heading for this dashboard. So you have to create a row and merge it and put it a very good heading here. So this is depends upon your data, which types of data you have. So just I am writing here a very like simple heading here. Pivot table dashboard by using slicer, pivot chart, timeline and other formatting. So this is the heading. You have to apply your heading as per your data. So this is the heading we have, and now we are going to create a very good pivot dashboard here. So now what you can do is, if you see in pivot table, we have done pivot chart. So pivot chart is done. So what you can do, you have to use of slicer. How we can use slicer? So go for the pivot dashboard. So pivot dashboard is there. Under this, see, there is a same option, analyze, and there is a slicer option is there. So go for slicer. You can see the same heading appear. So you can choose all or few of them. So I am just taking salesperson, maybe week number, maybe product. So I am just taking 3 of them and putting it here. You have to arrange because you are going to create a dashboard. So you have to put here your slicer and just arrange the size. See, and now what we can do is, there is another option in that is called use of timeline. So pivot chart is done, slicer is done, there is an option called use of timeline. So timeline, where is timeline? So if you click on pivot table, then go for analyze, there is an option called timeline. So just timeline is related to date, so you will get a timeline section here. What you can do, you can just decrease or increase your size as per your pivot table. Now you can see almost our pivot table is done. So how we can control this pivot dashboard? So yes, we have done it. So now your pivot table dashboard is ready. Suppose this is the report which is based on city wise cost versus sales, where you can see the values along with the chart. But I want only product wise Vivo sales. So just click on the Vivo, you will get the Vivo data here. If you are clicking on Samsung, this is based on Samsung. That means product wise you can use any of slicer. This is Apple product wise. That means you are going to present your data on product wise, that is Apple, for Apple sales, for LG sales, for Vivo sales. If you want all, so there is a clear filter option. So click here, so you will get the all product detail. Same way, this is the result of our all salesperson. But if you are just going to just create a report person wise, I am looking for Kanchan sales, I am looking for Neha sales, or Asif sales, or Manish sales. So you can see the reflection, everything is changing. If you want all, then clear your filter. Same way, this is the first week of the sales. This is the second week of sales. This is the third week of the sales. So this way you can create your dynamic report weekly, product wise, sales wise, city wise, item wise. It's all depend upon. And the most important thing is date wise. If you want a sales of February 2016 sales, this is the sales of whole data, but you are looking for February 2016. So this is 2016 February. So just you have to click on February. So this is the sales of February 2016 sales. Only 88,117. If you are talking about 2015, in 2015 you are talking about August sale. So this is the August sale, 71,920. If you want more months. So if you are talking about first quarter of 2016, that means you are talking about January, February and March. So click on January and drag up to March. So this is the first quarter of 2016. Financial first quarter of 2017 you are talking about. See, 17 first financial quarter. Financial quarter means first quarter of financial means in 2017 you are looking for April, May and June. So you have to start, click on April and drag up to June. So this is the first quarter of financial year 2017-18. So this is the report. That means this is very dynamic option in pivot table which we can use and create very good dashboards. So this is the most important part of Excel, which is pivot table, and under pivot table we have very good option to do it. So we have done pivot table dashboard.
I have a question. What is the difference between using a timeline or using the digits as a slicer?
See, there is a button here. If you take here date, so you have to create something like this. See, so this is approximately same, but you have to understand the logic and differences here. If you are using date in slicer, if you are taking a slicer with date, see, under date what you can do, if you want a sales of 8th January, so this is the sales of 8th January, 9th January or 12th January, something like that, and this is the summary, overall summary, monthly summary of the date. So either you can use through slicer or through timeline. So both is related to date, so you can use either. So this looks very like pretty, very presentable, so either you can use, and again slicer kind of is again good. So we can't say which is the best one, it's all depend upon your requirement. Either you can use through date under slicer or date under timeline, so both are same. Next, we have only two options remaining in pivot table. One is classic pivot table. Just I am creating a simple pivot table here and putting here date wise sales report, date wise sales report, and if right click on group and you are taking everything here, so carefully see what is going on. Under A column we have year, on the same A column we have quarter, under A column we have month, and B column you have sales amount or sales value. But this is the normal pivot table. If you want to change the look, that look is called classic pivot table look. So for that, what you can do, you can change it in tabular format. So right click on pivot table, there is a pivot table options here, and there is a display. Under display you can see classic pivot layout is off mode. You have to check and on this and click OK. So there is a no very much change, but yes, presentable, this is more presentable. You can see this is the year column, this is the quarter column, this is the date column, and this is the total value column. So this is the only difference between normal pivot table and classic pivot table. In classic pivot table you can see the mode and presentation of the value is somewhat different. So this is called classic pivot table. classic pivot table. So is it okay for all options except one? Definitely you have to practice on each part, and then you can easily do it. But now this is the last and most important part of pivot table. 99.9% professionals are not aware with this magical option. Especially I have given magical name here, seat wise report for different fields, because you can create thousands of report in few seconds, less than minute. So this is very magical option. So for understanding this, see, there is a question. If I tell you create total number of pivot table similar as total number of salesperson, that means you have to create number of pivot table similar as your salesperson. So what you can do, you have to put your salesperson in filter. What you want in detail, I want city wise sales price. Dhyan, carefully, see carefully. So what we need, we have to create total number of pivot table which is equal to total number of salesperson. That means you have to create, see, we have suppose 15 salesperson, so you have to create 15 pivot table. If you have 15,000 salesperson, you have to create 15,000 pivot table. But you will do the same thing for each person. What you will do, you will start with this, and this is the first pivot table we have done. So my question was person wise, city wise sales detail or sales analysis, person wise. So that means you have to create the same pivot table for all persons. That means every time you have to spend 1 to 2 minutes, because this is for Manish. You can name as Manish. The same way you have to create another pivot table for second salesperson, and you have to do the same work again, because you have to select salesperson, go for city and select your sales. Then you have to go for filter option, choose the second one, and then rename with Asif, something like that. That means you have to create same number of pivot table. So this is based on person wise pivot table, person wise, you can see person wise. So just think, if you have 2000 salesperson, so how much time you will take to do this? So definitely if we follow the same rule, definitely we have to spend 2000 minutes, at least 2000 minutes. That means you have to spend at least 1 to 2 weeks to create this. But here is, we have a magic. What you can do is just select your range, go for pivot table, same, create a pivot table, everything is same, do the same process. That means you have to select salesperson under filter, because you have to do one by one. You want a details of city or item, so this should be here. You want numerical value, cells under values, so this is the process for manual or dynamic, both kind of. So is it okay? Is it okay what we have done?
No,
Magic. magic starts now. Just click on pivot table. So there is a pivot table analyze option, or analyze is there. Under analyze or pivot table analyze, there is a option. There is a option. Under option, you can see there are three options here. Options, show report filter, and generate get pivot table. So you have to choose show report filter. So you will get a small window here. Once again I am repeating. Just click here, go for analyze. Under analyze there is a option, and under option there is a show report filter. And after this just click OK. Just click OK and just wait for less than 1 minute. You will get every pivot table ready with the same name. See, your pivot table is ready. Person wise, Manish ready. Go for the Asif ready. Khushi ready. Himanshi ready. See, pivot table, number of pivot table you have. So same way we can create for city wise, item wise, person wise, or whatever you have data. This is the magical option. This is the magical option in pivot table, and I think less than out of 5,000 professional, I don't think one know about these tricks. None of out of 5,000. In 10,000 people, they know the tricks of this. So now you are in the category of this less than 0.001% person knows these tricks, and you are under this category, not in this category, because 99.999% people doesn't know about this trick. So this is the magical option. That is why we write here name, that is magical. Where is our data? So we have to move. This is the data and this is the trick, and the name is seat wise report for different field, but we have put here magical word. So that is why this is magical. This is awesome feature in pivot table that you have to use. Is it clear now?
Yes.
So this is all about pivot table. So now we have very less time. So I am sending you the details. That means pivot table data. This data, I am talking about this data along with this set, the videos, and there are few assignments on this that you have to try. So you can easily correlate your all topic with assignments, and then after you can implement these tricks on your real daily time or real time yours project and assignments. So this is all about the today's topic, and this is very like important topic. That is why we are not continue another topic. So this is last for today. So we'll meet on coming Friday with new topics, but I'll just sending you few assignments that try to do it from your end, so you can easily understand the each points clearly, and then you should apply this trick on your real time data. So this is the option that you can use.
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
Like suppose if we create any pivot table, okay, and I want to add one formula. Just you put the last one, like post divided by sales. You put, but in the pivot table, it is showing the formulas. The formula not put here because last we did the cell number P2 divided by S2. Like that. It is showing the pivot table reference. And apply the formula.
Exactly. So that is why during creating formula, you can create anything. If you have a data and you have arithmetical knowledge, then you can easily create. See, go for insert, pivot table. Suppose we don't have MRP, we have only cost, and we are going to create MRP on the given data. So suppose item wise, this is the cost price we have, but what we want, MRP. So for MRP, you have any like understanding, you will take 30% margin or 40% margin or 50% margin, something like that. So for this scenario, what you can do, the same process you have to follow. Go for pivot table analyze. There is a field item in sets. Create a formula with the name of MRP, like profit and loss. Here you have to think how we can create MRP. So for MRP, you need cost. So you have to insert cost into, if you are taking 30% margin, so that means 130%. That's it. This is the MRP, which is not in our data, but yes, we can create through formula.
Suppose if we go to this T column and put this B4 into 130%. But in our case, it's not showing B4. It is showing
Exactly, you are correct because you are using older version of Excel. But don't worry about that. See, what you can do, simply don't click here, just take the address here. So address is B4. You don't have to click, just write B4. Not click, you have to just write B4 and then use 130. Right away you can check. You can do it.
Yes.
Just I am stopping my screen. You can share your screen and you can do it in front of me. You can easily do it. Can you share your screen? Yeah. So your data now it's working.
Yes.
This is a trick, hidden tricks. Okay, so thank you for today. We'll meet on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.